You've written movies, most notably Milk, for which you won the Oscar for screenwriting, and J. Edgar, and you've written for TV, Big Love, and most recently, When We Rise. How do you take a project that you're passionate about and go about making it commercially viable?
Well, you get really, really specific is my thing. If you want to tell a story that draws emotion in a universal way, and I think that's usually the way to make it break out beyond its core audience. And the way you do that isn't by making it general. You make it really, really, really specific. You get very specific to who these people are, how they behave. You encourage the actors to do the same, production designers and costumers to do the same. And I think that's how people who've never lived that experience go, oh, wow, that feels real. I believe this exists. I'm going to pour myself into it and let myself experience it with my own heart and head. And I think it's that specificity that makes the unusual universal.
I read where you said during the writing process, you constantly ask yourself, why am I telling this story?
Yeah, you have to remind yourself of that. I usually make a little card, and I tell my students to do that. Before you get going, particularly based on a true story film, write down what it is you want to say. What's it about? Make it really simple, a sentence or two. Put it on a little card, leave it on your desk, because you're going to get distracted, because there's going to be all these fabulous stories that are going to start to branch off of this main idea. And some of them are going to be very alluring, and you want to go down that path. And they might be clever, and they might be entertaining, but you're going to end up with this giant, unwieldy script that's not focused.
What did the card say for your latest project, When We Rise, which was 8 hours of television?
Well, that is a much bigger idea. But certainly the idea of the film is that we're strongest when we march arm in arm with other people of diversity.
Were you happy with the way When We Rise turned out?
I've never had anything received the way this was. Even though I see all the problems with it, it's the first time in my career I can say, wow, I guess we did it. We pulled it off, and it's really a we thing, and some of that is me not being so arrogant as a gay white guy to try and do it myself. It's making sure the writers and directors were as diverse as who we're depicting.
What advice do you have for screenwriters just starting out?
The thing that makes you valuable, and in the end marketable, is your differences. The ways you're unique, the ways you're different. That's going to set you apart if you're brave enough to pour it out there. And that's going to make you, in the eyes of executives, marketable, because people want the new thing. What's the new thing? What's this different thing? Who's this unique voice? Well, we all got one if you're brave enough to share it. In my experience, the projects that really break through are the ones you come up with yourself that no one believes in because they don't fit into the box. And those, if you can get them made, usually get a lot of attention. That's like what Milk did.
So it sounds like all the projects you decide to work on start with a story that you're passionate about.
They start with an idea. I don't start with a story usually. I mean, I think for film in particular, what's critical to me is, what do you want to say? What's the purpose of this film? What's your intent with this film? And also, what's your intent with it in 3 years, 2-3 years? It's going to take that long to make. What do you want it to do when you drop it into the culture? The thing that really helps is knowing that I'm following in the footsteps of what my mother taught me, even what the Mormon Church taught me, what the South taught me, which is get up and tell a good story that changes people. And I feel like if we're moving the needle each day with the stories we're telling, I got a reason to get out of bed. And, you know, the truth of the matter is there are so many necessary stories. I don't think I've slept in 15 years.